I know you can't be asking me that question, man. Come on, man. We can't see that's like the thing. Like, if we want to change the narrative, change the franchise, if we want to like help, we gotta speak. Like, if you can't, those type of things is like separate us. Like a lot of the players like get these type of questions, and then we want to be working with y'all. We want to be proactive, but like when you ask questions or when questions are asked to us players, and it's like you pinning stuff against each other, it's like, come on now, you know, it's like a thing in the locker room.
I know you can't be asking me that question, man. Come on, man. We can't see. That's like the thing. You definitely, like a coach, you know, he tells me what I need to do on and off the field. We definitely grown. Our relationship and everything has grown, so I'm just thankful to be here. So don't skip a single second of this video. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Where are you watching from? Let's begin. Let me tell you something right now. What you just witnessed, that wasn't normal. That was a two-year-old rookie quarterback doing something most 10-year veterans are terrified to do. Shedeur Sanders just looked a reporter dead in the eyes on camera in front of the entire NFL world and said what everybody's been thinking for years. And I need you to understand how massive that is. Let's set the scene. The Browns just lost to the Bills. It wasn't pretty. Shedeur finished the game 20 of 29, 157 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. On paper, that's a rough day. The kind of stat line that gives the media exactly what they want: ammunition. And trust me, they were locked and loaded. The vultures were circling. They could smell blood. A rookie quarterback, a tough loss, a team struggling to find its footing. This was supposed to be the moment they tore him apart. But Shedeur Sanders flipped the script. When that reporter asked her a question, she thought she was setting a trap. And honestly, it was a good one. The kind of question designed to make a young player slip up. The kind of question meant to create a headline. She wanted Shedeur to criticize his coaching staff. She wanted him to say something, anything that could be twisted into drama. She wanted division. She wanted chaos. She wanted content. And Shedeur saw it coming from a mile away. I know you can't be asking me that question, man. Come on, man. That's what he said. And in that moment, everything changed. The room got quiet. You could feel the tension because this wasn't a player dodging a question. This was a player exposing the question. He didn't stumble. He didn't give some corporate non-answer. He called it out in real time, on camera, without flinching. Do you understand how rare that is? Most rookies in that situation panic. They give a soundbite. They regret. They spend the next 2 weeks doing damage control while the media runs wild with their words. But not Shedeur. He shut it down before it even started. He protected his locker room. He protected his coaches. He protected himself. And here's what makes this even bigger. This wasn't just about one question. This was Shedeur Sanders pulling back the curtain on the entire playbook. The tactics the media uses against young quarterbacks. The traps they set. The division they manufacture. The careers they try to destroy before they even get started. He exposed all of it, right there, in front of everyone. The NFL world is watching now, because a rookie just did what veterans are scared to do. He said what players have been feeling for decades, and he did it without backing down, without apologizing, without fear. This moment? This is just the beginning. And what comes next is going to blow your mind. Now let me break down exactly what just happened. Because this wasn't random. This wasn't some reporter accidentally asking a bad question. This was calculated. This was deliberate. And if you don't understand the playbook, you'll never see what Shedeur just exposed. The NFL media machine has been running the same game on young quarterbacks for decades, especially young black quarterbacks. And it works like clockwork. Step 1, ask a loaded question, something designed to create conflict. Something that forces the player to either criticize his coaches or look like he's hiding something. There's no good answer. That's the point. Step 2, take whatever he says and twist it into a headline. Doesn't matter what he actually meant. They'll chop it up, take it out of context, and run with it. Step 3, Watch the locker room fracture. Because now teammates are wondering, coaches are wondering, did he really say that? Does he really feel that way about us? Step 4. That division leads to poor chemistry. Poor chemistry leads to poor performance. Poor performance leads to more criticism. And step 5, the narrative becomes, he couldn't handle it. He wasn't ready. He's not built for this. And then they move on to the next young talent and run it all over again. That's the playbook. That's how they bankrupt careers. Not with money, with narratives, with manufactured drama, with questions designed to destroy from the inside out. But here's where this story gets different. Shedeur Sanders didn't stumble into that press conference unprepared. He was trained for this moment his entire life. Think about who his father is. Deion Sanders, primetime. One of the most polarizing, most analyzed, most scrutinized athletes in NFL history. Shedeur grew up watching his dad navigate these sharks. He watched words get twisted. He watched narratives get manufactured out of thin air. He watched legacies get attacked by people who never stepped on a field. Deion didn't just teach his son how to read defenses. He taught him how to read the room, how to see the trap before it sprung, how to protect himself in a system that chews up young players and spits them out for content. And that reporter, she wasn't just asking about a 4th and 2 decision. She was mocking the Coach Prime philosophy, the aggressive mindset, the fearless approach. She was trying to get Shedeur to distance himself from his father's teachings. She wanted him to say, maybe that's not how we do things in the NFL. She wanted to create a wedge between Shedeur and everything Deion stands for. But Shedeur saw right through it. Because he's been watching this game his whole life, he didn't just answer the question, he exposed the question. He revealed the tactic. He protected his locker room and honored his father in one move. And what he did next, that's where this gets even more incredible. All right, let's address the elephant in the room. Because I know what some people are thinking. I know what the talking heads are saying. 157 yards, 2 interceptions, a loss to Buffalo. On paper, that's not a great day. That's the kind of stat line that gives critics exactly what they need to bury you. And trust me, they're trying. But here's what they won't tell you. Here's what those box score watchers conveniently leave out. Shedeur Sanders played most of that game with a dislocated pinky finger on his throwing hand. Let that sink in for a second. He put his hand in the warmer and noticed something was wrong. His pinky wasn't getting warm like the rest of his fingers. Then he threw a pass to Quan, took a hit on the hand, and that was it. Done. The finger was finished. Most quarterbacks would have walked straight to the sideline. Most rookies would have tapped out right there, called it a day, protected themselves. Nobody would have blamed him. But Shedeur didn't do that. You know why? Because of Dillon Gabriel, his backup. Shedeur said he didn't want to put Dillon in a bad situation because backups don't get reps. They don't get the preparation. They're not ready to be thrown into the fire like that. So Shedeur came back with a dislocated finger on his throwing hand. And he finished the game. That's not just toughness. That's leadership. That's sacrifice. That's a franchise quarterback mentality right there. But did the media talk about that? Did the headlines mention the injury? Did anybody give him credit for gutting it out for his teammate? Of course not, because that doesn't fit the narrative they're trying to build. And let's talk about what else they're ignoring. The Browns' offensive line might be the worst in the entire NFL right now. Shedeur is getting pressured at historic rates. He's running for his life back there. Receivers are dropping balls. Routes are being run wrong. The supporting cast around him is struggling to find its footing. This isn't exactly a situation set up for success. But despite all of that chaos, Shedeur showed something you can't teach: football IQ. In that press conference, he broke down Tampa 2 coverages like a 10-year veteran. He explained exactly why certain plays didn't work. He gave credit to the Bills' defense for making smart adjustments, and he identified specific areas where he needs to grow. That's elite processing. That's a quarterback who understands the game at a deep level. The stats don't capture any of this. The box score doesn't show heart. It doesn't show sacrifice. It doesn't show a young man playing through pain to protect his teammate. But the tape shows it. The press conference revealed it. A rookie with the mind of a veteran and the character of a franchise cornerstone. And the media? They're choosing to bury it. But we see the truth. Now let me tell you what this is really about. Because that question wasn't just about a 4th and 2 decision. It wasn't about one play call in one game. The subtext was crystal clear. They were asking whether Deion Sanders' philosophy belongs in the NFL. They were questioning whether the Coach Prime way actually works at this level. And they wanted Shedeur to be the one to doubt it. Think about that for a second. They're trying to discredit Coach Prime before his son even gets a chance to prove everybody wrong. They're trying to create distance between Shedeur and the very teachings that made him who he is. Because if Shedeur succeeds doing it the Deion Sanders way, with confidence, with self-belief, with an absolute refusal to bow to external pressure, that changes everything. Listen to what Shedeur said in that press conference. These words right here are everything. If you're in a world of pleasing people, you'll never be happy. You got to speak life into yourself, because if you look external for that, it's not going to happen. You can't live in a world of thinking about other people's opinion. That's not just a quote. That's a philosophy. That's the Coach Prime blueprint. That's the foundation of everything Deion has been building at Jackson State and Colorado. And hearing those words come out of a rookie quarterback's mouth after a tough loss, that's powerful. That's different. That's exactly what threatens the establishment. Because think about what happens if young players start following this model, refusing to answer loaded questions, calling out manufactured drama in real time, protecting their mental space instead of letting the media control their narrative. If that catches on, the whole toxic machine that's thrived on player exploitation for decades starts to crumble, and the people who benefit from that machine, they're terrified. But here's the moment that gave me chills. After everything, the loss, the injury, the media circling like vultures, Shedeur said something that stopped me cold. We won mentally today. Let that sit with you. We won mentally today in a loss with a dislocated finger. With reporters trying to tear apart his locker room, Shedeur found the win. He identified the victory within the defeat. That's not toxic positivity. That's not ignoring reality. That's championship mentality. That's understanding that success is built on more than stat lines and scoreboards. It's built on mindset, on resilience, on refusing to let external forces break you down. That's exactly what Deion teaches, and that's exactly what they can't allow to succeed. Because if the Coach Prime philosophy works in the NFL, if Shedeur proves that confidence and self-belief and mental strength can thrive at the highest level, then everything the media has been selling for years becomes worthless. And they know it. They see this young man who can't be manipulated, who can't be broken, who carries his father's teachings like armor. And instead of respecting it, they're trying to kill it before it spreads. But it might already be too late. What you just witnessed isn't going to fade away. This moment is going to be remembered. Mark my words. When people look back years from now at Shedeur Sanders' career, they're going to point to this press conference, this exact moment. Because this is when a rookie quarterback showed the entire league that he's different, that he can't be broken, that he refuses to play their games. Shedeur Sanders just gave every young player in the NFL a blueprint for how to protect yourself in a system designed to tear you apart. He didn't just answer questions, he exposed the questioners. He didn't just survive a tough loss. He won a war of narrative control, and he did it with the cameras rolling and the whole world watching. Let me make a prediction right now, and I want you to save this video. Come back to it in 2 years. In 3 years. When Shedeur is leading the Browns to the playoffs. When he's making throws that silence every doubter. When he's winning games with his arm and his mind and his unshakable confidence. People are going to remember this press conference. They're going to look back and say, that's the moment. That's when he served notice. That's when we should have known. because he's already too smart to be manipulated. He's already too mature to fall for the traps. He's already too well trained by one of the greatest to ever do it. The media wanted to control the narrative. They wanted to create chaos. They wanted another young quarterback to exploit for clicks and content. And Shedeur looked them dead in the eyes and said, "Not today." So I need to ask you something directly. After watching this, do you finally see the agenda? Do you see how the media tries to divide teams? How they try to destroy confidence with calculated questions? How they manufacture drama to bankrupt careers before they even begin, because it's happening right in front of our eyes. And Shedeur just pulled back the curtain for everybody to see. And here's the bigger question. When Shedeur proves everybody wrong, when he becomes the star we know he can be, when he's standing on that podium holding up trophies, are the people who tried to tear him down going to apologize? Are they going to own what they did? Or are they going to pretend like they believed in him all along? We already know the answer. But we'll remember. We always remember. The NFL establishment is watching right now. And they see something that terrifies them. A young man they can't control. A quarterback they can't break. A leader they can't bankrupt with their tactics. He's got the arm. He's got the mind. He's got the training from a legend. And he's got something they never accounted for, the courage to call them out. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing football. He's changing the game. And deep down inside, they know it.